Hey, what is going on, guys? RvzStealth here, and in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at what's pretty underrated sleeper OP right now in patch 9.10. If you guys haven't taken a look at my channel on Icon yet, it's a new app to where it allows me to create really unique challenges for you guys to compete in. So right now I got most kills in under 10 minutes as the first challenge. Top 3 finishers get $10 RP. So if you guys are interested, link is going to be down in the description below. All right, so to start it off here, this isn't really a specific champion that is sleeper OP in this patch, but it's a setup on a bunch of different champions, and it's the Smite mid. So Smite mid has started to see a bit of a comeback in this patch. You've got pro players playing it, you've got Dopa even playing it in 9.10 here, and there's a few different champions that are being played with it right now. The main ones are Zoe and Orianna. Those are the two main champions being played with it. There's also other picks like Ekko, Karthus, Malzahar that can work with it, but we're gonna more so be going over the Orianna in this video here because that's the one that is seeing the most play in 9.10. So basically the reason to why this has come back in this patch is because Runic Echoes did get that buff. The cost of the item did get decreased, so it just means you're going to hit a very early power spike when you do pick up this item. Now we're not really seeing Smite mid on any AD mid laners in this patch. The main reason to why this is coming back is due to the Runic Echoes buff, so you're not really going to see any warrior mid laners running the Smite in 9.10. Now for the setup and how you're going to want to play out the early game on Orianna here, it's a little bit different than how you would have done it previously. So you're going to want to take the Unsealed Spellbook as your keystone rune. You also want to take the Futures Market as a rune there because it allows you to hit an even earlier spike. You also want to start off with a Mana Crystal as your starting item. You no longer want to go for the Hunter's Talisman as your starting item and clear the Raptor's camp or clear the Raptor camp because you actually end up losing gold from lane minions if you buy a Smite item before you actually complete it. So you don't want to go Chilling Smite, you don't want to go Hunter's Talisman in the early game there. You just want to go Mana Crystal into Fiendish Codex on your first back, and then your next base after that, you should ideally have enough gold for your Runic Echoes, and then once you grab your Runic Echoes, you don't lose any gold for taking lane minions. So that's pretty much how you're going to want to play it in this patch. They're not really taking Smite mid right now to really steal jungle camps, or that's not really the main reason as to why it's being taken. Obviously, you can look to take jungle camps as well if you do get ahead in the early game, like take the enemy's Raptor camps and stuff like that, but that's not the main reason. The main reason is because the cost of the item got decreased by running the Futures Market on the Orianna as well. It allows you to hit the spike even earlier, so you just get a very cheap first item with this setup. And then you can definitely experiment with other champions with this setup as well with the Smite mid right now. Ori and Zoe are the two main ones you're going to see with the Smite mid, but you can also make it work on things like Karthus, Ekko, Malzahar with the Unsealed Spellbook setup as well can work pretty good for this patch, so there's definitely other options too for 9.10. So next pick here is going to be a top laner, and it's Pantheon with Conqueror as his keystone. So Conqueror right now is performing a lot better than Electrocute on Pantheon in the top lane. Reason being is because matchups in the top lane right now are pretty much almost all Bruiser matchups. You're seeing a lot of Bruisers being played in 9.10 who are going to be stacking HP. Conqueror just allows Pantheon to take more extended trades against these Bruiser picks. Running the Electrocute, it does give you a little bit more early game kill threat, and it does do well against squishy enemy top laners, but top laners that are going to be stacking like HP, the Electrocute, especially in the mid to late game, is not going to be as useful for you on the Pantheon. So by taking the Conqueror, it allows you to do better in tank matchups. It also allows you to do better in Bruiser matchups and just take more extended trades. Pantheon can actually stack Conqueror up pretty quickly as well. All three of his abilities give him a stack of Conqueror. So if, for example, you're going in for a trade, you auto, you use all your abilities, and then you auto again, you're going to get the Conqueror stacked up. And he can actually keep it stacked, keep it to 5 stacks pretty easily in the laning phase because he can constantly look to be using his Q, poking the enemy out, and keeping those 5 stacks. Your Q is only on a 4-second cooldown. Conqueror takes 8 seconds in order for it to drop the 5 stacks once you get it up to there, so it's actually pretty underrated right now on Pantheon. Great room for him in the top lane. So moving over to a mid lane pick now, Zilean mid here with the Glacial Augment setup is doing great in 9.10. So it seems like almost every single patch there's a new mid laner that pops up with this Glacial Augment setup, and in this patch it's the Zilean. So Zilean actually does have very good matchups in the mid lane right now. We are seeing Zed and Talon being played a lot, just a lot of assassins being played in the mid lane right now. Got your Fizz as well, your Katarina, and Zilean. As long as you don't die pre-6 in those matchups, you're just gonna hard outscale them. You're going to make those champions completely useless in the mid to late game. By running the Glacial Augment on him as well, it does allow him to very easily look to line up his double bomb combo in team fights and just throughout the game, so it does help him out quite a bit. The double bomb there is your main damage combo on Zilean, so if you can just throw out your Twin Shadows, throw out your GLP, then it's going to be very easy for you to hit those in team fights. So down in the bot lane in this patch, Caitlyn with the lethal tempo is starting to see a lot more play. A lot of pro players are picking this up on Caitlyn in this patch. It's not to say that fleet footwork is bad on her, it's definitely still a great option on Caitlyn, but if you're in easier lane matchups, if you don't really need the sustain, if you don't really need the extra kiting potential that fleet gives you, you can run the lethal tempo. It gives you a lot more trading potential in the laning phase. It makes Caitlyn's laning phase even stronger than it already is. So if you do find yourself in easier matchups to where you can bully, then I would definitely look to try out the lethal tempo on Caitlyn in this patch. So moving into the jungle now, Ekko jungle with more so of a bruiser setup is something that RvzStealth, who is an NA Challenger Ekko jungle player, he's been running this the past couple of patches now on his Ekko jungle and having quite a bit of success with it. So the setup that you're going to want to take is the Conqueror there as your keystone rune, and then for the build setup you're going to want to go Runic Echoes into the Iceborne Gauntlet and then Spirit Visage. So only damage item is going to be Runic Echoes, and then after that it's pretty much full tank. So basically the reason behind this setup is that by running the Conqueror and by going for this tankier build, you're going to be able to stack Conqueror up. You're going to be able to benefit a lot more from the Conqueror being active if you are playing Bruiser Ekko. If you're going to go for more of an Assassin Ekko build, so you're going to go for like Protobelt, Lichbane, then you still want to run the Electrocute, but by going for the Gauntlet, by going for the Spirit Visage, it allows you to stay in team fights a lot longer where you're going to benefit a lot more from your Conqueror. Now another jungler in this patch here, Master Yi, he is one that did get a lot of different changes directly and indirectly in this patch, and the setup that Master Yi players are running in this patch is starting to change a little bit. So you're still going to see the Rageblade setup, the Rageblade build there with the Conqueror as the most played in this patch, but a new setup to where you're going to want to run the Hail of Blades and go for more of a heavy crit build is something that is starting to see a lot more success on Yi in this patch. So by running the Warrior, Infinity Edge, and Essence Reaver, and by taking the Hail of Blades, it just gives you a ton of upfront damage. Warrior IE and Essence Reaver gives you a bunch of AD. You're gonna have a ton of AD. Hail of Blades allows you to get those 3 quick auto attacks off, so the amount of damage coming out early on with Master Yi is gonna be much better, so you don't need to like stack up your Rage Blade or anything. You don't need to be thinking about like stacking that up on a jungle camp or something before you enter a fight. You just go in with this setup. You have a ton of upfront burst. You also do have 30% CDR with this setup, so it does put your Alpha Strike on a much shorter cooldown, and it allows you to be a lot more slippery in team fights. So if you haven't tried this new setup on Master Yi in this patch, I would definitely recommend giving it a shot. Now, if we take a look at Yuumi in this patch here, she's definitely not performing very well overall, but I feel like if people were actually running the correct setup on the champion and doing things a little bit differently, she would definitely be having a lot more success. So you do not want to take Flash on this champion. 60% of players in this patch are still running Flash on Yuumi, and it's definitely understandable because most champions just automatically take Flash, so you'd expect for a new champion to just take that summoner spell. But in this patch here, you want to either be running the Exhaust with the heal or the Exhaust with Ignite. Most pro Yuumi players right now are running the Exhaust with heal and then letting their AD carry take either Barrier, Cleanse, or Teleport. You do have to make sure you're communicating that to your AD carry. If they don't end up taking the Barrier or a different summoner spell than heal, then you can just swap to Ignite. So you either run Exhaust Ignite or Exhaust Heal depending on what your AD carry ends up doing. Now, boots also are not necessary on Yuumi. You're going to be attached to your teammates a lot of the time. You're not really going to need boots. You're not going to need that movement speed because the move speed is going to be coming from you on your teammates. So boots also are not an investment you want to be looking to go for on Yuumi. And then another thing to note is that if you do get ahead with Yuumi in the early game, if you are snowballing, make sure you do grab a Majai's after you finish your Athenes. Majai's is a lot less risky on Yuumi than most other supports because you're not really going to die with Yuumi if you end up getting ahead. If you take a look at support pro players games and games that they win, they only usually die like 3 times max throughout the whole game. A lot of them don't even die once, so she's just a champion that doesn't die a ton if you do get ahead. So make sure you are going Majai's if you are snowballing. So that is going to be all for this video, guys. There's not a ton of new things in this patch that are really popping up. This was a little bit of a shorter video, not as many champions in this video here, but that's what we got so far in patch 9.10. So with that being said, if you guys did enjoy this video, be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you have yet to already. So thanks for watching, have an awesome day, and I will see you in my next video.